Hey, everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up on this show today, we're going to follow up our conversation from last week about Fred Carter's work to take on the LDS Church.
His campaign to
tax exempt status, right?
yeah.
We're actually going to
There's news.
talk about tax exempt status in general with churches and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
We're just going to kind of get a little more information on
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
But before that,
We have other things.
we have other things.
Other things, Dan.
You know what? I lied. It's not beautiful Salt Lake City right now. It's just kind of grungy, gross Salt Lake City right now.
It's kind of cold, and it feels colder than it is. I hate that.
It's not that cold. I mean, a couple of weeks ago it was colder. I'm just saying.
I'm saying
I'm trying to say
it's chilly out there.
if our voices sound like shit, it's not our fault. We didn't.
Sorry, guys.
We didn't put all that PM10 pollution into the air. PM 2.5.
PM 2.5. Yeah.
We got all the PMs. Oh,
Bad, Dan.
it's bad out there, kids.
Well,
It's like Beijing.
not. Yeah.
Not really at all.
Not that
not
bad.
that bad.
Not that bad.
Anyway,
All right, Dan.
yeah. What do you got?
I'm going to start with a bummer of a story.
Oh, good.
Yay, everyone! Embrace yourselves.
It's what we're here for, ladies and gentlemen.
Apparently, the Russian Duma, right? Isn't that what they call their lawmaking body?
Oh, I thought that's what they called a sweet caretaking grandmother.
A Duma?
Oh, Duma, come and give me some soup.
Well, take a look at that lady. Does she look like a sweet old lady?
She looks like the woman that beat up Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Well,
Who is that?
that is Yelena Mizalina.
Okay.
She's an arch-conservative senator. And she has sponsored a bill to decriminalize some domestic violence in Russia.
Oh, good. Oh, it's like for the longest time I've said, why are we demonizing all these people who just all they want to do is just hit their partners and their children?
Yeah, keep their wife in line.
I mean, how do you keep an ordered household?
Apparently, there's an old Russian expression: "If he beats you, it means he loves you."
Great expression.
And, so
fantastic
there's
expression.
a long tradition here.
Yeah.
They feel like this is a return to traditional Russian values.
It is a return to
Where-
I'm sure she's not wrong about that.
Men can hit their wives, apparently, the Mizalina feels that the existing laws that they have against domestic violence
Yeah.
are, quote, anti-family
Oh, okay.
and a baseless intervention into family affairs
Wow.
that allows prosecution for just a scratch.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, that poor guy getting prosecuted because he left a scratch on his wife.
It was just, I mean,
It's just a scratch.
he barely even hit her, really. I mean, is her eye black? Well, okay, maybe a little, but that's just, they call that Russian eyeshadow.
Yeah.
That's just how they do makeup there.
That's rough. That's rough. Apparently, the Russian Orthodox Church is, with its emphasis on traditional family values,
Oh, yes.
has also been influencing this debate that's going on in Russia.
In which direction?
Oh, they're fine with it.
Oh, they want the hitting.
Yeah. Well,
They're down for hitting.
There's they would like to. I guess there's this thing called the Domostroy, which is a centuries-old manual that prescribes strict rules of behavior and requires absolute submission to the head of the family. They like that manual.
Oh yeah.
Domostroy.
Oh yeah.
So they're kind of promoting that, and I mean,
hey,
yeah,
you know what?
this is good stuff.
If it works in Russia, probably coming soon to a United States near you. The way we're regressing, I think that's where we're headed. I think that's next. Because let's be honest, that's a return to our traditional values as well. Like, that used to be us. We used to hit our women.
Yeah. Oh, and also, it's not just women. It's children, too.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Thank God, because sometimes those little shits get out of line.
And they need a firm hand.
They need a firm hand and maybe a belt in it.
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord. I maybe the most surprising revelation of that story is that it was criminalized in Russia. I guess I kind of assumed that they would just that it was already fine, that it was still okay there.
Yeah, who knows?
Good thing there's a woman leading that charge. Thank God. Speaking of women leading the charge, I'm going to report on the Calvary Baptist Church in Washington, D.C. It's a beautiful building, a nice red-brown building.
Sounds beautiful.
And a big one.
Red and brown.
No, a reddish brown. Here, I'll show you a picture.
Oh, okay.
Sort of almost a brick red, but
is it browner? A little more brown.
A little more brown.
Brick.
Anyway, it's a lovely building. They've gotten 2 new pastors.
Oh, okay.
And this surprised me because when I hear the term Baptist church, I don't think of a lesbian couple being the pastors of that church.
Oh, wow. Good for them.
Yeah. So there are 2 new pastors. Co-pastor Maria Swearingen, which if you're as big a fan of Deadwood as I am, of the classic the classic HBO series Deadwood, the name Swearingen does not bring up the idea of a female pastor, but that's
okay.
That's okay. And Sally Sarrett, they're taking over.
Fantastic.
People, they were asked. The Carol Blythe, who's from the church, said she's a spokesman for the congregation.
She's a spokesman?
What's that?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, she's a spokesman for the congregation. She said they don't. She didn't know if the gay couple was a first for Baptists, the gay couple leading a church, but she said we look for the best people in the world, and that's who they were. So apparently they are pastoring up a storm over there.
Good.
They are some barn-burning lesbians, let me tell you.
Lesbianing up a storm.
Yeah.
And preaching.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
I'm gonna guess that there are some other
How's
Baptists.
The congregation responding? Does it talk about any? Well, are they just like all for it?
Yeah, theoretically, they're the ones that chose them. I mean, it was a the group that chooses them is from the congregation.
Sure, but sometimes those groups will make a controversial choice.
I think that this has been a very progressive Baptist church for a long time, and so I don't think this comes as a shock to anyone there. Just here, just in my brain,
the observer.
Yeah, just
from 2,000 miles away.
Right, who says, really? I'll bet that there are some Baptists in that town who are sent there from other places, meaning like Congress people and senators who wouldn't approve of that.
Well, there are all different kinds of Baptists. I mean, I think that we often
lump them all together.
Mainly into the same lump as the Southern Baptists.
Right.
When we think of Southern Baptists, and that's just Baptistism or whatever.
Yeah, that is how I think of it. Yeah. I pretty much every time I hear the word Baptist,
you think Southern Baptist.
All I think about are some gay hating,
right?
Hate hollering,
And
assholes.
I don't think that they're all that way.
Clearly not. There's a couple of dykes who are doing it now.
Dan, careful with your
slurs,
your words.
Oh,
Dan,
I've been trying to use their words. I'm trying to help them, the Baptists out. But
I'm sure they love it when a straight man.
No, I'm not the lesbians' words. The Baptists' words, the Southern Baptists' words.
Oh, okay.
No, yes, no. 2 actually just delightful seeming women are going to head up this church.
Fantastic.
There you go.
Very good. I have an update. I'm gonna give an update story. We spoke, probably a month or 2 ago about this McDonald's that's opening up in the shadow of the Vatican.
Oh, yes. Like right across the street, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, really close.
Okay.
And the Catholic Church actually owns the building that the McDonald's is going into, and they're paying.
Of course they do.
They're paying like $35,000 a month in rent.
To
$32,000 a month
the Catholic Church.
Catholic Church.
Nice.
There's actually a couple, like I think, like cardinals or whatever that live above the McDonald's now, and they were none too pleased that this was happening because their apartments are going to smell like, French fries and whatnot.
They'll just move. You know what? They'll move some new cardinals in. They'll have the they'll have Grimace, Cardinal Grimace, come in.
Okay.
Bishop McCheese.
Yes.
Anyway.
So in order to appease the critics, McDonald's is going to be providing 1,000 free lunches a week to homeless who live in the area.
Huh.
This is they're coordinating with an archbishop who specifically dispenses charity on behalf of Pope Francis. And they're going to be working with also the Italian charity Medicina Solidale, which offers medical care to the poor. And so the volunteers from the charity will collect the meals and then distribute them. This still, however, has not completely silenced the critics.
No.
One, where was he? He's an Italian cardinal, Elio Sgreccia. He has, what did he say? Oh, he finds that the burgers and fries being sold in the neighborhood is unacceptable because the American-owned, mainly because the food is a breach of Italian taste.
Yeah, it is. Welcome to the world. American taste wins again.
All I know is that there are McDonald's scattered around Italy in such numbers, and around Rome in such numbers that it's not just tourists eating at these things, not just American tourists. There's Italians who decided that they like
you know what?
those burgers and french fries.
I've had the best meal of my life. I ate in Italy when I was a younger man, but also I've had an Italian person cook me one of the worst meals of my life.
No.
So it's not like all of their. You were in southern Italy, so you probably didn't encounter this. She was from northern Italy.
Oh.
And she made me a dish that she called mayonnaise, which means mayonnaise.
Yeah. Was it just mayonnaise on pasta?
It was mayonnaise with rice and cut up what they call Wurst.
Yeah.
Which is hot dogs.
Yes. Wurstel. Yeah.
It was disgusting. It was just mayonnaise and rice.
Yeah. They've been known to do that.
They cannot get snooty with me about food if they're willing to do that. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying they make brilliant food. Yeah. Americans also, some make brilliant food. And then there's this other part of olive cuisine, which is just everybody has gross shit.
Apparently, however, Dan, your palate has not
developed
enough
such that I enjoy the mayonnaise,
mayonnaise, rice, and hot dogs.
Hot dogs. I looked at that and I was like,
delightful.
I was like, I seriously was looking around the room to see if I was being punked. Like, where are the hidden cameras on this? You cannot tell me that an Italian would find this cuisine acceptable. Oh my God.
We would actually do something fairly similar as missionaries on occasion.
Yeah.
It's a cheap meal.
Yeah.
You serve 6 missionaries, a big pot of rice, and a little bit of mayonnaise, and some. We would do like a veggie thing.
Gross. It's so
in with
gross. It's so gross.
After a while, no, it's actually, you kind of develop a taste for it. It's not bad.
Oh, God. I'm moving on. Yay for McDonald's for giving away free food, I guess. That's got to be the most expensive McDonald's. Like, there's certain locations of McDonald's that just, they know they're going to reap a fortune. Like, there's the McDonald's on the Champs-Élysées in France.
Yeah.
That I'm sure pays through the nose for the right to be in that particular spot. Because they just wreak havoc. They just make money hand over fist. Yeah. And it's not like the burgers are more expensive there. They're just selling so many burgers.
Well, there's that crazy phenomenon of being like someone who never eats at McDonald's, who avoids most fast food chains.
Yeah.
Definitely all the national fast food chains. I've got a local favorite or two. But like you're in a foreign country, somehow you find yourself at McDonald's.
You always do. You really always do.
It's just so weird.
And you love it. You get there and you're like, thank God for this place. I don't know why. I hate it everywhere else.
Yeah.
Holy shit, I need McDonald's right now.
I still have not had a beer, though, at McDonald's.
I've never had a beer at McDonald's.
And it's available.
Is it?
In a lot of European countries.
Maybe I haven't been as much as I'm saying I have been.
Huh.
But I've definitely been.
Yeah, I've been too. It's not every.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
I'm going to do a story that's going to sound like a story that we've done before because this shit keeps happening.
What?
A prisoner in our federal prison system here in these United States of America is suing with the help of the FFRF, the Freedom from Religion Foundation, and the American Humanist Association. They're suing the Pennsylvania Department of Corrections because in order to qualify for getting out early from his prison sentence, he would be required to attend a program, a drug abatement program or whatever,
that
is religious-based.
Oh, shit.
And he formally requested a secular equivalent.
Yeah.
Please? They said no. Which means that in order for him, like otherwise, he has to serve the maximum sentence of it. Like he has to serve the entire sentence.
That's such fucking bullshit.
Yeah. So.
Wow. Okay.
So yes, So the FFRF has contacted the people. Also, and the Appignani Humanist Legal Center, which is the legal wing of the American Humanist Association. Mm-hmm. Next time, find somebody to name it after that's easier to say, guys.
Someone with an easier name, donate a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly. Become their new savior. Monica Miller from that group said, the Pennsylvania Department of Corrections cannot promote religion or require inmates to participate in religious programs to receive benefits.
Yeah.
Doing so violates the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment, which guarantees that all citizens have the right to be free from religious coercion by the state.
Ding, ding, ding.
That seems right to me.
Yeah.
But apparently, I mean, here's the thing. The more we hear politicians talk about, how they about what the world needs. Senator Sessions, who's now going to be our state, our attorney general under President Trump, loves to talk about how nothing good can happen without Jeebus, and how we who don't have Jeebus aren't even capable of rational thought. So
yeah, no, clearly not.
Totally makes sense that he would think, well, yeah, you can't kick the drugs if you don't got Jesus.
Jesus is just so helpful.
So useful.
So helpful.
Why are we fighting it, Frank?
He helps people get over. I mean, he just intervenes all the time in people's lives, helping them out and fixing things up. Like, I really,
And if he hasn't fixed your life up, if you've believed in him and he hasn't fixed your life up, you did it wrong. And fuck you for trying.
Actually, not even that. He's just being a little arbitrary and capricious.
No, mysterious. He works in mysterious ways, Franklin.
You don't know why he's chosen not to.
Nobody knows.
Answer your prayers.
No. Nobody knows. But he knows, and it's for the best for you. It's in your best interest that he has fucked you up so royally.
Oh yeah. Or allowed you to be fucked up because he doesn't do the fucking up.
Oh, sometimes I think he does.
Does he?
Yeah, like when the hurricane takes your house away, that's Jeebus fucking you up.
Oh, I think that's him not intervening.
Oh, he's really good at not intervening. He's like amazing at not intervening. Like in terms of like because you look at in the Old Testament, God was an intervening motherfucker.
Oh, he loved it.
He would just he'd drown everybody and just fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Now he's really released that busybody part of himself.
He's grown.
He has. He's so much more mature now.
He's found his center. You know,
I think he took up yoga. That's what I think.
The Eastern traditions.
He was like, "Hey, this Buddha's onto something. I'm gonna chant a little bit. I'm gonna maybe do some bends and some stretches.
Well,
and you know what? I don't need to intervene. Yeah. I'll just let it all play out.
Yeah, it's much more interesting this way.
Yeah,
it's like an episode of the best show on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, Dan. Well, the Philippine government, Dan,
yes,
has gotten involved in trying to prevent the spread of porn.
Oh, good.
Throughout their country.
Something tells me
they've blocked some popular porn sites.
Oh,
after news came out that Filipinos spend more time watching porn on at least some of the porn sites that released this information. Pornhub.com.
More than you said, they spend more time watching porn than
other nationalities.
Oh, okay. Right. They're just the porn lovinest of them all.
So at least on Pornhub, that is.
Okay.
Because Pornhub sort of releases statistics every year.
Yeah.
And they found that of all the nationalities, Filipinos spend the most time on their site per visit. Right?
Oh, so they're actually interested in the story. Is what I get from that. They're not just there for the salacious nudity and hardcore sex. They want to learn about these people.
And they want to know what happens in the next episode.
Right. Yeah. They're sticking around.
There was a cliffhanger at the end of that one.
Maybe it just takes them longer to come.
Who can say?
Who can say?
However, Filipinos spend an average of 12 minutes and 45 seconds on the adult website. Almost 2 minutes longer than a South African does,
okay.
Which is the group that came in second.
Okay.
Since this information started being released a couple years ago, the Filipino government has kind of just been not happy about all this porn.
Oh.
And so right now, Pornhub.com and a few others, they are not available in the Philippines.
Oh, no.
If you put the URL in on your laptop or phone, apparently there's a lot of porn watching on phones as well.
Yeah.
In the Philippines.
Yeah.
A little thing comes up that says, this website has been ordered blocked under the authority of the Philippine government pursuant to blah, 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 or the anti-child pornography law.
What?
So
those
apparently
sites don't do child porn.
Exactly. Apparently, that's
not that I would know that, Mom. I have no idea what these sites are for.
There was oh god, it must have been the other article that I read about it, which was the Filipinos' favorite search terms as well.
Oh god.
Which was telling.
Yeah.
But they like their own. I remember.
Oh, okay. So they're searching Filipino
or Pine Filipina. Pine. What were some of the other ones? But nonetheless, yeah, they like that. They like their own.
Yeah,
as people tend to do. They like their
yes.
Look at people like themselves having a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, government getting involved in this shit, it's just dumb.
I mean, the big scare of pornography. Oh no, it's gonna ruin everything.
Has it?
It's only been around since forever, so I don't know. I don't think we have enough data yet.
Well, I mean, here in Utah,
we're good at porn here.
We're good at it.
We like our porn here.
We do. And the legislature keeps trying to get in. What do they call it? They declared it a public health crisis.
It's a public health crisis
here in Utah.
Oh my God, we're so unhealthy here. What with our porn consumption?
Yeah.
Public health. Oh my God.
How is it a public health crisis?
That's the public health crisis. The air that we're currently struggling to breathe.
Yeah.
That's no public health crisis.
Yeah.
But pornography, watching people do things with their peepees and their hoo-hoos, that's scary. That's affecting our health.
Yeah. I mean, the air would be cleaner, maybe, if we all weren't. I don't know. I don't know how that works.
I don't think it would. I think that you've created a false thing there. Speaking of here in Utah, however, I do have one local story.
Do ya?
We've got an after-school Satan.
Yay!
Here at one of our elementary schools. The after-school Satan program, for those who haven't been paying attention, is a program developed by one of our favorite organizations, the Satanic Temple, which I think the goal of which is primarily just to scare the bejesus out of people for whom the word Satan is scary.
Oh yeah.
They do it in response. So these are after-school programs that they've created in response to Christian after-school programs, which are it's totally legal to have a religious after-school program on a school grounds here in the United States.
Yes.
That's been decided by the Supreme Court. And so this is just a response, which is very funny. They don't teach kids, anything satanic at all.
They're not sacrificing chickens.
No, although maybe for fun one day they just, sacrifice on some McNuggets or something. But no, what they do is learn about critical thought and science and a bunch of stuff that you would definitely want your kids to learn about if you're a smart human.
So where's this school? Which town is it in?
It's Vista Elementary School in Taylorsville, which is here in the Salt Lake Valley.
That's in the Mormon heartland.
Yes, it is. Right smack dab in there.
Okay.
And that it's because that school also has a Christian club, not a Mormon one. Although all the high schools here have Christian, not clubs. They're Mormon. They've got the Mormon seminary. That's not on the school grounds.
Yeah, I mean
but it sure is right next to them.
Yeah.
Anyway, this club is available to kids between the ages of 5 and 12. It's all about science and stuff.
Huh.
So our chapter here in Salt Lake of the Satanic Temple is plugging away.
And what has the response been? Are parents just up in arms?
The school's administration had to send out a letter to the parents because they knew that this would be a problem.
Probably.
That basically explained that this is legal and that they can do this and that the school has an obligation to let anybody who wants to rent it out and that this is not an endorsement of Satanism by the school district or anything like that. There has been at least one child or at least one family who has requested to move their child to a different school because of it.
Whatever school that child winds up in, they need to target it again.
Yeah, they need to just
an after-school
fuck with that kid.
That's terrible. That's the worst thing, man. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, poor kid.
Yes,
Gonna have to go to a different school. So, Satan.
Moises Estevez, who is the spokesperson for the Child Evangelism Fellowship, which, by the way, I will point out, does not make it their goal to teach the kids anything useful other than Jesus, Jesus, Jesus.
Right.
He says that Satanists were, quote, compelled by their despise of God and their despise of anything Christian.
Their despise?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's not how we English, but that's okay. You go right ahead, Moises. Yeah, it's very funny. That quote makes it clear that they're playing directly into the hands of the Satanic Temple. Because everybody, I mean, even the Salt Lake Tribune ended up running, after they ran the initial story, they ended up running an opinion piece, an op-ed about it that basically said, they're just fucking with us, just so that we all know. They're just fucking with us because they can.
Right. Right.
But that doesn't stop everybody from
brilliant. I love it.
Freaking out.
So, kids are showing up?
You know what? No word on that. I have not seen any word on that.
Huh.
It's just, I just know that it's going to happen. Okay. I want to go. I want to learn about science and stuff. That sounds fun. I'm just too old. That's all. There you go.
Poor Dan.
Yeah.
Too old to be in a elementary school's after school program.
It's always so sad. Of course, when you say it that way, it makes me sound really, really creepy. That's not what we're talking about. Anyway, if you have any questions or things that you'd like to comment on about any of the things that we're talking about, please feel free to write into us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
You can also call and leave us a voicemail message.
Yeah.
The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
And while there, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. It's a closed group, but we'll let you in.
Well, Frank, since today will be devoted, our topic for today's final segment will be devoted to religious organizations and in part whether or not they can participate in the in our electoral system, in politics, in these United States. I wonder maybe we should, play something that's a religious person talking about politics in a way that probably he's not paying taxes to do. He's making a fortune, and no taxes.
Months ago, God called me to be a part of calling this nation back to God.
Yeah.
To voting at the election, at the polls, a person who would stand for Bible reading in the schools even. You say, we can't do that. We can. We can do all things through Christ. And if America votes, it's time they vote for anything and everything. We should vote for Bible reading. We should have never let it be taken out of the schools.
Yeah, that's right.
Amen.
Amen.
We should have never allowed them to take care from high schools and colleges and university, all of them. We should have never, ever. We didn't have to. We didn't have to. Look what we did in this election. The people got up one last time. The great giant called the family of God got up and voted.
That's right.
And all hell is against this presidency.
Crazy.
All hell is against. Why? Why? I'll tell you why. That's it. Because of righteousness. Good and evil.
That's right.
good and evil. That's what it's about, Zach.
Amen.
It's about Christianity cramps the style of this generation.
Well, they, never should have let them take the prayers out of the schools. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
How'd they let that happen?
Well, they kind of were ordered to.
They had to, because of the laws of the land and the Constitution and stuff. My goodness, that's Jim Baker, of course, purveyor of fine foods and television bloviator.
He's a mess.
That man, yeah, he's actually, that was as coherent as I've heard him for a while. But boy, he's excited about this Trump presidency. Not really sure why. There is nothing that I've seen that indicates that Trump actually cares at all about religion other than just what votes it can get him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see why any religious person would be excited about this man who is clearly without a moral center.
It's going to be interesting as the, conservative Christian groups start to realize that that's true, what you just said. What is the sense of, how is their sense of betrayal going to play out?
I just wonder if they will ever realize that that's true. He will continue, of course, to I think, to pander to them. There,
he's not pandering to them.
You dance with the guy that brought you.
No,
he panders.
Most of these picks are not great picks for them. Maybe Jeff Sessions is.
I think he's got a lot of crazy kooky Christians in it. He's got what's his name? What the neurosurgeon that he?
Oh, there's Ben Carson.
Ben Carson.
Yeah, that's true.
He's got Breitbart fella on his right arm. He's dancing with the boy that brought him. Huh. This guy knows. He knows what side his bread is buttered on. He doesn't give a fuck about him. But it's who got him. It's going to be
interesting. Like I said, the man is so. He's. I don't know. He's such his own individual.
Yeah.
Right. He is his own man. Right.
I think that's one thing. That's one way of putting narcissistic personality
I just don't think
disorder.
that these advisors and heads of departments of government they're not going to sway him. He's going to keep saying the nonsense. He's going to and who he is going to come out. And it's going to be a beautiful thing when the conservative Christians realize it.
What you are, I think, underestimating, and I have plenty of evidence to back this up, is the conservative right's amazing ability to live in the cognitive dissonance, to sit there and happily smile as the two conflicting pieces of information wash over them, like the waves of the sea.
So basically, all you have to do is give them the abortion issue.
Yeah.
And give them a good Supreme Court pick. And the rest of it.
And
they'll just deal with it.
Be straight, white, and male, and he's got it all down. I feel like he's just not. I feel like they are just going to. The ones that are behind him are going to stay there, hell or high water. He would have to if the Russian prostitute pee-pee video came out, I think he'd lose a few of them. I don't think he'd lose all of them. I think they'd find a way to rally behind the guy if the thing was released, if such a thing exists, which we have no way of substantiating.
Right.
We had some folks write into us.
Indeed.
Again, the one of the issues that seems to be holding people's attention is that of God in your phone. The God in the phone.
God in the phone.
The insistence of iPhones to capitalize the word God, and probably other phones. I don't know. Emily wrote in to help out our listener. She said, "Hi, Frank and Nan. I love your podcast, especially as an ex-Mormon who grew up in Utah." Congratulations on the X part of that. Well done. I had some advice for the person who contacted you a few episodes ago who was annoyed at the autocorrected, or the autocorrect on her phone always changing God, lowercase God, to uppercase God. I had the same frustrations when I got my new phone, but someone gave me a hack. Have her add the little g God into her contacts list. That way, autocorrect will accept the lowercase spelling as being correct.
What?
Also,
that's great.
Then you've got God in your contacts if you ever need to...
yeah, lowercase God.
Yeah. If you ever need to reach him or her.
Which is the only God I'd ever want to deal with.
It's the... Yes.
This capital G God, he's a prick. And
He's an
there's
asshole.
No way. There's no way.
Anyway, yes, so I hope that helps from Emily. I think that's interesting. Now, last week when we were joking around about this, we were talking about all the various names of God and the fact that God itself should be a title and not a name.
Yeah.
And then we mentioned the name Elohim.
Uh-huh.
Well, Rabbi Gruber wrote in.
Oh, good.
Our longtime friend, Rabbi Gruber, wrote in to say that Elohim means God. Yahweh is his actual name.
Oh, wow.
Well, I'm going to correct you, Rabbi Gruber, because the Jews aren't the only ones who use the term Elohim. And to the Mormons, Elohim is his fucking name because they're fucked up. So, yeah, you may be right about that, but you're not the only people who use that term. Elohim, I have gone down and helped the people. If you guys haven't watched the video of the Mormon temples that Mike Norton put up, his YouTube handle is New Name Noah. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and go in there and and watch. If you, I mean, it will both bore and horrify you. But there's this movie, and then in the Salt Lake Temple, it's not even a movie; it's live acted.
Oh, with the finest local actors.
Oh yeah. Well, no, we're not allowed in there. The good
finest octogenarian actors they can find,
right? Who go in and they act out this whole really long, really intensely boring play. It's a little show that they put on where God tells Jesus to tell Michael. Is that who becomes Adam? Archangel Michael, or is it?
Well, okay, wait. Say that again. God, Elohim,
God
tells Jehovah,
Jesus,
to
tell
Michael,
who becomes Adam.
Yes.
Have we lost you? We should. Yeah. You should not be able to follow this, by the way. To create the earth.
To take matter unorganized.
Yonder is matter unorganized. And apparently organize it into the ball of rock that we call this earth.
Yeah.
And
separate the light from the dark.
And all, yeah.
Right?
Do all the shit that, and the
firmament.
And put upon it the animals of the sea and the blah, blah,
fishes.
blah. Yeah.
But
this doesn't all just happen. Like, God doesn't say, like, that's boring and stupid enough.
Right.
God saying, Jehovah, go tell Michael to do this and do this.
Right.
No. Jehovah tells,
Jehovah responds to Elohim by saying, yes, I will go and do this.
Right.
And then he turns around and he goes and gets Michael and he says, Michael, we're going to go down and we're going to do this.
And Michael responds by saying, yes, we will go do this. And then and then they do it. And Michael turns around and says, Jehovah, we have done this. And Jehovah turns around to Elohim and says, Elohim, we have done this. And then they all turn to all the people who are going through the temple that day and see that they are asleep. Because that's a horrible way to tell a story.
Yeah, it's awful. Yeah, the Book of Mormon was chloroform in print. Try going to the temple.
Yeah, exactly. And then when you're lulled into that like sleepy not really paying attention anymore. Suddenly you're standing around an altar and chanting with your hands doing gestures in the air, saying, "Hear the words of my mouth." And then you're like knocking on a door and doing secret handshakes. And it's still boring. They can't even make secret handshakes interesting.
Yeah.
Because you have to learn, this hath it a name? It hath. It is a sign and a token, and it is the sure sign of the nail, and it is strengthen the sinews and marrow in the bones, and it is
health in my loins.
It's crazy. I don't know karate, but I do know crazy, and that is it.
Oh, okay. Wow.
It's nuts, people.
All right. Do you have anything else?
No.
All right. Well, we have some people to thank on Patreon.
Oh,
new patrons on Patreon.
Our favoritist people in the whole wide world.
If you'd like to join these kind folks, you can go to our website, thankgodimatheist.com, and click on the Patreon button.
And the only reason you would do that, I mean, certainly you are under no obligation to become a patron of our show. The only reason you would do that is because you appreciate what we do, and you're not a skinflint. You're not a cheapskate. That's the only reason. No.
Wow, Dan.
No, I kid. But yes, if you want to become a patron and help produce the show, you can do it like these fine people.
Yes, we have two new faithful listeners. We have Bill and Farron. And then Jamin is now beatified. So thank you, and James continues to be our Lord and Savior. That's our top three.
Et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen.
So Dan.
Yes, sir.
We had a very nice guest on last week.
Yeah, Fred Carter was on last week. Those of you who may not have heard it or don't remember it, he talked to us about his campaign to relieve the LDS Church of its of the burden of not being taxed.
Yeah. Oh, a hefty burden.
Yes.
A load billions of dollars of burden.
Yeah. He wants to get the IRS to revoke their tax exempt status because he feels that they participate in too much politics, which is against the rules theoretically for churches.
Yeah.
And that is the condition upon which churches get their tax exempt status, is that they don't wade into political campaigns. But they do.
And the IRS has gotten really, have they ever, at least recently, gone after a church for being too political?
No. And churches have outwardly, openly defied them to come after them.
They do nothing.
They do jack diddly shit. And that's somewhat understandable because the quagmire that they would be swimming into is, the IRS as an organization is already stretched to its limits as it stands.
Yeah.
It's why you don't hear too often about your friends getting audited anymore, because they don't have the funds. They don't have the ability to audit everybody. So go ahead and cheat on your taxes. It's fine.
Ooh. Legal advice from Dan Beecher.
Well, as other podcasts have said, do not take legal advice from a podcast ever. But they if the IRS were to say, "Hey, we're revoking your status because you endorsed blank candidate," or whatever, the shitstorm that would ensue would be likely unprecedented.
Yeah.
So I get why they don't want to do it. And here's the other thing, is that the IRS has a long history of being spineless pussies about this subject.
Yeah.
They allowed themselves to be blackmailed into doing what the Church of Scientology wanted.
That's also, yeah, that's true.
The Church of Scientology infiltrated them, got a bunch of dirt on them, and then threatened to sue. And they did sue them, and they continued to threaten to sue them until they relented and just gave Scientology their church status, their religious designation,
right?
Which meant that they didn't have to. Not only do they not have to pay taxes, but because of the church designation, they don't have to fill out the is it the 990 form, which is
I can't remember.
Which is what all other tax exempt organizations in the country have to fill out,
right? And
it's a shit.
Oh
show.
Yeah. I worked for a nonprofit for a number of years, and
it literally delineates where every fucking penny that has come in has gone.
Yep.
You got to track everything that ever happens with every penny of every little.
It's an expensive and burdensome process for nonprofits.
Yeah, and it's what they all have to put up with, unless they're a church,
right? And then they just send them a form, like they just fill out a number, probably.
Yeah,
right?
they basically just send in a little thing that says we're still here, and that's it.
Yeah,
they don't have to tell anything.
A little half-page form.
Yeah.
Oh, just
this person's the president of our little organization. This person is, and we're done.
Yeah. We don't know the full details of exactly what that entails, but...
You mean you and I don't know?
Right.
Yeah. I'm sure it's known by someone.
But it's not the having staff members or a staff member who's basically dedicated to that task.
Right.
Or at least a good portion of their year is dedicated to that task.
Yeah. No. It's if you want to have a nonprofit, that's one of the deals. I mean, that's the first person you write into your grant is that guy. Yeah. That person who tracks all of the money.
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, Fred Karger is out there tilting at that windmill.
Yeah.
Quixotically attempting to divest one of the most powerful churches in the country of its status.
And wealthy.
That's why it's powerful.
Crazy status. Yeah.
Is because it has so goddamn much money.
Yeah.
But in fairness, there's a lot of good reason there. The church has been insanely active in the political realm.
Yeah.
In ways that they don't have to be. We talked about the video that was leaked of former senator from Oregon, Gordon Smith, I think is his name.
I don't remember.
Talking about how he used his position as a senator to get a whole bunch of Mormon missionaries into India.
Right. By
exerting that pressure.
Yep.
Inappropriate, I would say.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Fred made his little commercial that was going to air in all the major markets of Utah, asking people to write him or call him or let him know about any information.
It was a tip line.
It was a tip line.
Yeah.
That's what he was going to do. He had his little 30-second ad buy that was going to go for 2 weeks.
Right.
All over the state. And it was approved. So he announced it. He did a big press conference after our interview with him. I'm going to point out we scooped them all. And then more news came out, which was that Comcast, largest provider of cable television programming in the world, I believe, has now denied his ad buy.
Right.
What do you think of that?
Well, I think that Fred Karger just got a lot of free attention.
Yeah.
Because now there's articles talking in the Tribune and elsewhere talking about, the fact that Comcast pulled it after they agreed to do it.
Yeah. I think
so. That's good. He got some free publicity there.
He may have made out like a bandit on this deal because he doesn't have to pay Comcast now, and his video is still popping up when people read these stories online. So
yeah, and so it's great. He's still getting the word out. But yeah, I mean, Comcast, come on. The grounds that they cited were that the ad had unsubstantiated claims in it. But I think that's the whole point of a tip line.
Yes.
That you have questions, and the product that you have here is your questions.
It's very clear that the reason that I think it's very clear. I could be wrong. It's very clear that the reason his ad was pulled was because it was targeting an organization that is very powerful.
Oh, absolutely.
And
that does a lot of ad buying itself.
Because this particular ad was approved.
Yeah.
Let us not forget. Yeah. It had already passed muster.
Yeah.
And then was pulled. Even the Deseret News had picked up the story on this guy, by the way.
Wow.
I just want to point that out. I just barely noticed that. I don't know. I'm not a huge conspiracy nut or anything, but it's an organization
sure seems convenient. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. And let's not forget that Comcast aired over the past year dozens of political ads that made not only unsubstantiated claims about someone or some organization, but outright lies.
Yes.
That just happened all through the political the campaigning of this last cycle.
Right.
So their complaints about Mr. Karger's ad are certainly they a little disingenuous. Yeah. So we wanted to talk a little bit about tax exemption as a concept.
Well, yeah, because I mean, here we are. I think the sense here of like having tax exempt organizations, especially like charitable organizations, just in general, your non-profit type realm, is that, these are groups that are doing good work that benefit society, hopefully in some way, right?
Right.
Whether it's some kind of aid organization for homeless folk or an after-school arts program.
Right.
And that's just barely scratching the surface of what kind of services these groups could be giving, right?
Right. Any group that wants tax-exempt status has to apply for it and show in some way that they are in service of the greater societal good.
Yeah, and so it makes sense then that we don't tax those groups because we're basically allowing them to step in and provide services to that the government otherwise would probably have to be providing.
Yes,
right. And so great.
I mean,
awesome.
so
and then your donations to those groups are also tax deductible.
Right.
Which is nice.
So that's the argument, right? Now I've read arguments about why churches should have tax exempt status that range from they're just that, they do good. I saw one article from the LA Times that talked about, this was written, of course, this was a not an article, but rather an op-ed sort of thing that was written by a guy who's a lawyer for a large Christian organization. And he said, what better way to maintain the wall of separation between church and state than to actually not make them pay taxes? They're not even paying Uncle Sam.
Right.
How could they be connected to the state? Look at that wall. Not even money makes it through that wall. That's how high the wall of separation is. in his mind.
Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't know if that's the best argument for me.
That is a bullshit argument is what that is, because everybody pays taxes. We all have to pay taxes. So you got to give us more reason than that.
Right.
Not to pay taxes, because it's not like, paying taxes amounts to the state endorsing your religion because you have to pay taxes. That's not how that works.
I don't get how that works.
One of the interesting
instead of actually not taxing, that is tacit, approval of that religious group.
Well, one of the most
endorsement of that
important trials on this subject, one of the most important Supreme Court cases we've had on the subject is a case called Waltz versus Tax Commission of the City of New York, in which a self-described Christian, a man named Waltz, who didn't belong to any specific church and owned real estate in Richmond County, Virginia, sued the tax committee over property tax exemption for churches, because he claimed that he and other taxpayers were being forced to subsidize these churches, which we are.
Yeah,
we as a society are all subsidizing. These churches are using state and federal services. If they're on fire, they get to have their fire put out by the local fire department, etc. But they're not paying into the system.
Right.
They're using the system without paying in. So they were sued. Waltz lost that by a vote of 8-1.
Wow.
In 1970. The majority decision, which was written by then Chief Justice Berger, said that tax-exempt status, which is granted to houses of worship, is the same privilege that other nonprofit organizations get, and so and that the state of New York. So this is a quote from that decision. New York, in common with the other states, has determined that certain entities that exist in a harmonious relationship to the community at large, and that foster its, quote, moral or mental improvement, unquote, should not be inhibited in their activities by property taxation or the hazard of loss of those properties for non-payment of taxes. Now, Justice, the lone justice who dissented on this, a man named Douglas, said that he said, quote, one of the best ways to establish, he's putting that in quotation marks, referencing the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment to the Constitution.
Right.
He says one of the best ways to establish one or more religions is to subsidize them with which a tax exemption does. He said he rejected the idea that it would be disruptive of traditional state practices if we were to release if we were to say to not continue subsidizing them. I think it's obvious where we're going to fall in this argument.
Do we really need to state our opinions?
Yeah, honestly,
at this point,
we don't. It is interesting, though, that this is not... I mean, yeah, I guess eventually it does seem to me that somewhere down the road someone will, the tide will turn and will say, you gotta do something more than just sit there preaching at people,
right,
in order to earn this tax exempt.
Right. Like, how does that,
how does that benefit the community at large?
Yeah, where's the greater good?
Yeah.
That,
now there is in Chief Justice Berger's majority decision. In his decision, he basically did say that that somehow their existence has a stabilizing property on the community.
Well, does it? Huh.
Well, it might, but I'll tell you what, there are plenty of congregations that are not stabilizing.
Yeah.
The old Fred Phelps and his Westboro Baptists, they were not stabilizers.
No.
They were not providing that that service to the community.
Oh, they were agitators.
Yeah. And many, many churches are. I mean, we heard Jim Bakker earlier in the show agitating.
Yeah.
Talking about how we need prayers back in the schools and whatever. I mean, this is not stability. And the way that the churches have been acting in this country has not been a stabilizing factor for a long time.
Yeah.
Like in my recent memory, when you hear about a church engaging in the public conversation, they're hateful. They're hurting. They're not, they're not there to just calm and placate the masses, despite Karl Marx's notion that it is the opiate of the masses. It's not. They're not doing a good job of opiating everybody right now. Anyway, the cards are stacked against us, kids. I think that's what we're getting at here.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, though, when you have a Fred Karger who's going after a church, a big institutional church, you kind of just, you're going to root for him.
Yeah.
Clearly. But, I mean, we got to really support this guy. Like, I think this is actually a really important thing, and it can maybe lead to a better discussion about these kind of things. I don't know. I mean, I honestly don't see it being a full, like, whatever he's able to achieve. Sadly, I think the LDS Church will just get a slap on the wrist. If they can even prove that they've been up to no, if they've kind of crossed the line, Yeah. They would have to give him some, and again, a slap on the wrist. Nothing of real consequence.
Yeah, I mean,
Nothing.
if we were betting men, I think you and I would both lay dollars to donuts that against the LDS Church ever losing its tax exempt status.
I don't think they're going to lose their tax.
I just don't think that's even possible.
Not with the history of the IRS.
Yeah,
and also just it's so ridiculously powerful.
Yeah,
but that does not mean you shouldn't go after it and bring attention to these issues and get people thinking about it. And
absolutely,
I think it's really important what he's up to.
I think that it may be enough to just give pause to religions who attempt to flout the law in this way.
They don't like the publicity,
right?
And they don't like the having to spend money on lawyers.
Yeah,
for this reason,
right?
So maybe they'll think twice.
I don't know that I dare hope for this, but there's even the possibility, slim though it may be, that if he's successful enough, the church will actually stop having, stop telling our legislature here in Utah everything that they can and can't do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's more than one could hope. That's beyond. That's ridiculous. Why am I even saying such a thing?
No. Oh, well.
Oh, well. Well, if you guys have anything you'd like to add to this conversation, I don't know where we got to. We didn't get very far. I think we went in a circle.
Did we? Oh, probably.
But if you guys have anything that you'd like to add, please do so. We want to hear from you. So, write into podcast at thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yeah, go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
And while you're there, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. It's a closed group, but we will let you in.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of the Members Only Lounge, thanks to Sarah, Amy, and Danny for their help there moderating.
Fantastic. Thank you, guys. And thanks to Mackenzie for her help on the more public side of our Facebook page.
That's right. Thanks to the Red Rock Hot Club for the use of their fine, fine music, and to my cousin Gordon Johnston for the use of his as well.
And thank you, dear listener, for listening.
We sure do appreciate it when you do.
Bye.